Somebody may get hurt here.
Great day for racing.
I tell you, it's a great day, and I was wondering if I'd ever get my name on that trophy when y'all built that thing, and it's going to be great to have this in my trophy case, but it's for Richard Childress and all the guys. Everybody worked so hard for this. There's too many people in my life I had to think I couldn't think of them all right now.
Dale, you lose that car for a whole year. It's going to be at Daytona, USA. They'll roll it in tonight.
That's why I took it out in the grass and spun it around a little bit. I knew I wasn't going to race there again. I just thought I'd throw a little grass up.
I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Darryl, how long?
Wait. This is the Daytona 500, isn't it? Don't tell me it isn't. Thank God.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is former NASCAR driver Bill Lester.
Bob Cockers.
I'm NASCAR driver Natalie Decker.
NASCAR's Chief Hype Officer Mamba Smith.
And you're listening to Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane Vibe.
Let's go.
376. Antron Brown is the top fuel champion.
Just praying for it. There it is. Raja Caruth wins it at Las Vegas. First career win. Gets it done.
You stayed in the game, and it was just one step, one punch, one round at a time, and my guys had me a great stop, and we just executed. So there's more to come for sure.
His final time through 3 and 4. He's going to do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
Ready. What they gonna say now, baby? Let's go!
He is the man who raises the bar, who raises the stats, who takes things to stratospheric levels, and he's only got 3 corners now. He can see the crowd standing and giving him that round of applause. 8 times we've said it before. Here's a 9th for you. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. What a victory! Hamilton is back.
Hung out.
We got hung out.
No,
Three-wide middle.
We had a great plan, and Mother Nature ruined it, man.
We had a great plan.
Well, then, like Jared in the chat's like, "I'm going to bed now." I was like, "All right, bet." And I just took my ass to the shower, hit the shower. Arthur's like, "Peyton, where the hell are you?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, man? I'm getting cleaned up. It's time for bed."
Peyton said, "I'm putting on lotion." Y'all said we done. I'm in the locker room.
Said, I'm done. Locked out. I'm done for the day.
I already made my peanut butter cookies, man. We're just having a good night. Shut her down.
He went to the Chronos time card and swiped. He said, "We done.
Done for the day.
We done."
We gotta talk about ARCA. I see your agenda.
Yeah, I see. I posted the show notes, and I'm really kind of upset because I really want to skip all of this. Truly,
I mean, we can just speed run it real quick. We can just speed run it.
All right,
it sucked. That's it. There you go.
That's
all you got.
That takes all of the fun away from the episode, Vontae. We can't leave it like that.
Hey, man, you want to skip it? Just say it sucked and move along.
Well, we got the bread. Now we got to get the peanut butter and jelly to make the sandwich. So let's make the sandwich.
Oh, man.
Go at it.
All right. Sorry, Connor. We're usually a touch more prepared, and that's not true.
I don't have shit to do till like 3 tomorrow. I'm chill. I'm good.
All right,
bless.
Let's tee off then. Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. It's Jared, it's Art, it's Bonte, and Peyton. And we have a guest this evening. We have a celebrity, a social media mastermind.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yes. Introduce yourself to the masses.
My name is Connor. Absolutely not a guy anymore.
That's a long name.
But
now Art always gets on me about not letting the guests do their tribunal commencement. So we're gonna make you do the full rundown since this is your first appearance on VLV.
I'm doing the rundown today.
Yeah, you gotta give some insight to who you are, what you do, not who you are, what you do. But when did you start becoming a fan of NASCAR, Mr. Moore?
All right, cool. So, man, I don't remember the exact age. It had to have been somewhere around like 6 or 7, somewhere around then. And it literally was two things that pretty much caused it, and it was the two most just random, easy to impress a 6-7-year-old things like ever. It was probably, and number one was just like randomly seeing a race on TV, right? And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then my parents were like, yeah, cool, and just like clicked it off. I was like, no, go back. I want to watch that. And then the other thing I remember when I was in first grade, they sent me with like these little mini like notebooks that they had at the dollar store at the time, like the ones that literally looked like little journals, like the normal size journals now. And they got me 3 of them, and they were my 3 favorite drivers growing up. It was when I was a kid. I want to specify this. I ended up changing taste as I matured. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, and then my all-time favorite, Dale Jr. actually. And then I started to get more into it, just like playing the video games and everything. Chase for the Cup 05 is one of the greatest games of all time. And just since then, yeah, I've just been a fan. Like literally, so funny because I have this little glass '88 car that I got for my birthday when I was like 13. Of a junior, and I've just been a fan since. Kind of took a break from it in college just because at that time I was like, all right, this really isn't for me anymore. And then weirdly enough got back into it, right when Bubba started to hit the circuit again, and then I actually met some friends in college who watched races, so I was like, all right, I'm back in it now. And since then I've just been hooked ever since, probably more than I've ever been. Went to my first race 2021, was Road America. Last 2 years I was at the street race in Chicago, and it's just I'll pay attention as much as I possibly can. If obviously like the last couple summers when I was working, whether it be in the W or or in women's soccer, it's hard to try to catch up with a lot of game races and everything. So, just glued to the NASCAR app, or I've got Sirius XM on, going to the arena or hearing what's happening coming back. But that's pretty much been my intro to NASCAR. And I've definitely at a point now where I'm like, I'm not leaving. Like I enjoy it too much now. So.
Is it y'all? # growing up black. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
For honestly.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, y'all can't see it because this one won't be out in video format, but Bonte was flashing his car of tomorrow. Jeff Gordon diecast.
Yeah,
he was trying to flex.
Wait,
2009.
Question to ask. You said it was Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Junior, and you since changed that taste. So who got bumped out?
Tony.
We're good.
I bumped Tony. So.
Was it? Am I allowed to ask this question?
You can ask.
Is this pre or post incident?
A little bit pre, and then absolute post. Absolutely post. Like once
you had to check your conscience, see if you.
No, it like beforehand. I was like, all right, like I'm kind of just like there was other drivers that I ended up liking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then after the incident, I'm like, I'm so okay. Like, nah, like. Thanks for the childhood memories. The Home Depot 20 car will remain rooted in like my childhood, but that's where it begins and ends. It's the childhood right there. So
I feel like if Aaron's came back to the sport, Home Depot can come back.
Yeah,
there's no more Lowe's.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's not if they can, do they want to?
I mean, Red Bull.
Aaron's came back in 2025.
Yeah,
no, I know. I'm saying Home Depot might not want to.
Man, it's possible.
Man, check on that. All right, well, you've met our guests. You know our panel. That means I'll get to talk this week. I'm very happy for that. Let's go through the week recap. It's Speed Week. I said it last episode. I'll say it again. Bring the Clash back to Daytona to keep them parked there for 2 weeks. Speed Weeks needs to be a real thing again. Qualifying for the front row for the 500. Wow.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, bro.
Wow. The Hendrick cars did not have it, couldn't find it, was nowhere near it. which was shocking to everybody, surprised. The Penske Fords had some speed, but Toyota finally got their pole with their newest, lighter driver. Mr. Chase Briscoe takes the pole for the 500. Watching qualifying, I said I was going to talk about it. I guess I will. Lots of hand movements. I feel like there was more hand blocking this year. It seems watching some of the onboards, there's a lot more drivers trying to deflect that air out of the window net. But ultimately, the horse car, the car with the horsepower was the 19. Y'all walk me through y'all's thoughts, opinions. We'll just start with qualifying. It's gonna be a real slow episode, but we'll start there. Any surprises for you outside of Toyota getting it done?
No. Besides Toyota getting it done, that's literally the only surprise there. Saying they really stepped the game up. I was not expecting Junior and Truex to make it in the race and qualifying, because usually last year it was Johnson's first year. I said Junior. I mean Johnson and Truex. Sorry about that. Johnson had to race his way to the 500 last year. He ain't had to do it. He already did there race his way in by qualifying Toyota. So I'm glad Toyota stepped their shit up. But genuinely shocked that they literally got that pole. First time ever a Toyota won a Daytona 500 pole. Something you never see. Sit down. But other than that, just usual, but pretty shocking.
It really had to be that off season, right, for Chase? Because they said he lost like 10 pounds. That hadn't made a difference.
No, it was more than that. That boy looked skinny.
More than that. He looked a lot more skinny.
Significantly leaner.
I know he admitted to 10 pounds, but yeah, I was just gonna say that's a testament that he took the offseason real seriously. I'll give him credit for that. Like I've not been a Chase Briscoe defender on this show, and I will not become one just because he now drives a Toyota. But it's a great accomplishment for him. And yeah, I mean, it seems to be like the HMS Invitational for so many years, where you just assume it's going to be the 48, 24, one of those two. So yeah, it's a nice surprise. But I don't know, with the clashes existing. I'm sorry, with the duels existing, I normally just check out for front row qualifying, honestly, because like I assume my driver's not going to have front row pole speed, which is fine. I'd rather them be good in race trim, but it's a nice accomplishment for them. It's something to hang your hat on.
For me, my biggest thing, I know that I feel like the easiest thing would be just to harp on the performance of Toyota like all the way, but I just think that was one way to definitely set a tone and almost set a message for the rest of the season. And then obviously that carried over, into Duel 1, which, I don't want to talk about too much because we're going to get into the duels later. But I think from that point, all the Toyotas, all of a Toyota racing team pretty much, I think really I would want to say them put their best foot forward. And I think that would be a good time to do so. Because like you guys have said, usually it's Hendrick and, usually Penske. If anything, it's just whatever the Fords want to do, whatever Chevys want to do in Toyota, there's like a sprinkling every now and then in there, right? But to have so many in there, they would later talk about that even on race day, like multiple times, just about the fact that there are so many Toyotas just sitting in the top 20 at multiple points in the race. So, obviously, you don't want to overreact or underreact too much off of 1 week, especially given the weekend that was. But if you're the Toyota camp and you see this from multiple drivers, you have to feel pretty confident, not only going to Atlanta where it's basically just a mini super speedway, but just the rest of the season. Truthfully, there's no way I would say that anyone in that camp is coming out of that weekend regardless, thinking, it might be another one of those like a sprinkling years. Like this could be one where Toyota's like full fledged, just challenging just every single week in numbers. It's an absolute drove. So that's the biggest sticking point for me here.
Yeah, pole qualifying's hugely irrelevant. It only serves the purpose of just having your headline saying X car sees the pole. It looks good on your marking release. I watched it on. So we've got plenty of TVs in our house, but I still try to be conscientious about in terms of dictating the terms of our overall TV situation. Wife clearly saw me looking at pole qualifying on my phone. She said, "Would you like me to put it on the big TV?" I said, "No, I'm not burning that equity that I've got so early. Save that for the duels because you're about to get worn out on this." It's all largely irrelevant. You can't really translate what the cars do in single car qualifying to anything else. It was surprising to see Toyota pick up some speed. I'm not certain if I'm ready to see a Chase Briscoe transform into Martin Truex. We might be seeing that. Their career trajectory could honestly follow the same sort of timeline, although Chase Briscoe hasn't been in the sport as long as Martin Truex Jr. was, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. I do quite like Chase Briscoe. He's a guy who spends a lot of time on Reddit, and something I've got in common with him. I still think he made a lot of bonehead moves, looking at the dirt race, things like that. So not ready if I'm ready to see him achieve all of his dreams and goals just yet, but it was a surprise seeing Toyota up there, but yeah, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest toe for me was the practice session before qualifying and the top 5 fastest cars were all Toyotas. That's why I knew, I wasn't expecting anything out of single car qualifying because I knew they had race pace. Boy, did they. Thursday night under the lights. Yeah, there was some malfeasance from a few people in the dual one, which is typically the first dual race is the one for shenanigans and wrecks, and the second one they were like, oh, we shouldn't do that, and they sort of keep their act together. So a lot of cars got torn up, a lot of cars got messed up. And the one that didn't know, Bubba Wallace wins the first dual race, netting his first win in a season and a half, 2 seasons. He was really elated over the radio saying he always won one, especially since Tyler got one last year. So 2311 goes back to back as an organization getting a dual win. Thoughts and feelings on the dual races?
Finally, man's got to win at Daytona, dual or not. He's still got to win at Daytona. I don't care. Getting diecast, respectfully. He had his line too. What a last out between Bubba, man. Like, that was phenomenal. I ain't gonna lie. Got a little nervous because he had Ty and AJ coming through with top, but AJ kind of ruined Ty line. But outside of that, I'm just genuinely happy that I saw Bubba win his first dual race and win it at Daytona. Still special to me. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those perfect storms, and everything worked out exactly how you wanted. It's a duel and it's live action. We're in a smaller field, so it really didn't get 3 wide as much as the big show would. But it's just encouraging to see them come off with great speed. I know that's been something that they've tried to do a better job of. I would imagine it seemed like 2 years ago they were much better coming out the gates with speed, and last year they kind of fell off in that department. And then seeing how Bubba interacts with having his new chief, Charlie. How do you say his last name? Is it Dank? How do you say his name?
So I looked at a NASCAR article. They had a nice segment or feature article on their website. I saw it as Nike.
Nike?
The Nike.
Yeah, they had it phonetically spelled. You all talk amongst yourselves. I'll make sure that's accurate, so not all of us look like a bunch of jackasses.
Careful. Thank you.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry. I'm starting the swearing early. I'm sorry, everybody.
All right.
No, you're not sorry, so don't lie.
Bleep that out, please.
I will not. But no, I'm very happy that they seem to be working well together. They made adjustments and the car responded well. So that's all I really want out of a dual performance. Getting the win is great, of course. Like Bonte mentioned, it's official, it's a win. It's nice to get some good momentum to start the year. I mean, it's exactly what you would want. So it made me feel very optimistic going into the 500. I only wish Tyler could have stayed with him at the end, right? Like he finished, I think 5th or 6th or something like that. But yeah, it was great. It was great. A++, exactly what you want. I wish we could have gotten a sequel, but it wasn't in the cards.
You pretty much really I honestly have to like echo a good chunk of what you said there, because that's really a lot of how I felt when I heard that he won. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch it. I was at work, so I ended up figuring it out just through text messages, and I was just like, all right, what's this cruel joke? And then when I went on Twitter and then looked at the group chat, I was like, oh, now I feel like an idiot. Like this is bad. But for me, I think it's what better way to go into a new year. I mean, it's point spanked. It's a win. It's a win at Daytona. It's an early win with a new crew chief. You really can't ask for anything more other than obviously winning the big one. And from a fan standpoint, I mean, obviously it's great to see him win it for the first time in what we said. It's been about 2 seasons now since his last cup race. And I believe that was Michigan. No,
no, it was Kansas.
Kansas. That's what it was. Kansas. Right. So it was the perfect start for the 23 camp easily. I mean, I don't think you can ask for anything more there. And then obviously, like you had said, wish a lot of that would have translated on Sunday, but I think early signs are there. And I mean, just everything that just from dialogue with just from on the scanner and everything, it sounds like there's just a very good working relationship there with like the three of them, with Bubba, with Denike, with Freddie. So, again, early. It's one race in, but for me, and I feel like for a lot of people who are fans of whether it just be 23XI or just Bubba in general, you should be allowed to feel good regardless of what happened on Sunday. You should come out of this weekend allowed to feel pretty good and confident going forward that they are all ready to do that, albeit in a shortened field, but they were still a win's a win and a points win is a points win. So.
Can only echo what everyone else has already presented. It's great to see your favorite driver in victory lane, get a pull up, get to celebrate. My wife did ask, so is this like, what does this mean really? I was like, I don't know, because they still assign points and it's still useful and it still looks good on the press release. Also, too, it means they can now use this in promo clips. Bubba Wallace emerging victorious. Now, hopefully look good in a Toyota commercial. Can't really do that when you're rolling out of a model year that's like 3 model years old. So, yeah, they can use him in some contemporary marketing, which is quite nice. I will also agree with what Connor was mentioning. I like and also Arthur mentioned it too, but Connor said it better. The chemistry with his new crew chief really seems to be there. And one of the concerns with that was going into all this was how would they get along? It seems like Charles is a lot more regimented. Does that work for where Bubba is in his career? So far, so good. We'll see what it looks like when they get to the more difficult tracks. The biggest frustration with what we saw on Thursday is none of it translates. The techniques that he used didn't translate to Sunday, and it's not his fault. It's not Freddie's fault. It's just this sort of racing stupid. And I'm going to do my best for the rest of the hour that we're recording this to be positive about what we saw, but it's just the frustration with this. Like, he rode a perfect race. He maintained track position. He sort of kept both lines measured and sort of showed, okay, in order to win this race, you got to stay up the front. And apparently, actually, you don't.
Hey, not to cut you off
later.
Hold on, before you finish. Charles said, I think, I don't know, Sarah made tweet about it yesterday. Charles said to Bubba, "You did fantastic. You did great out there."
One other thing I forgot to add too, like this also was a good boost for Bubba's confidence, because I feel like he's coming into this season somewhere, I don't want to say in a prove it mode, because he did sign a multi-year extension, but he also had a kid in the offseason. So he even said it in an Instagram post, right? Like, same drive, new purpose. Like, this is like, it just adds on to you have to feel, or you should be allowed to feel good about where his head at. Because what's the biggest thing that we've talked about, just, in our own personal circles when it comes to Bubba and everything? It seems like he's very hard on himself, which, completely understandable. But at some points, it almost reaches a point where just like, is this borderline self-destructive? Is he in his own way, just mentally right now? Which, again, he's been very honest and talked about that. But to see this, I don't want to say this new version of Bubba, but this more refined version of him, like from a headspace perspective, that should translate over as the season goes on. And it translated pretty early this week. So that's another thing that I completely forgot to mention, but that's something that I do think is important and worth considering, and just another reason to be pleased, I'd say, if you're in the Bubba camp.
And we move on to Friday evening, the Craftsman trucks at Daytona. Handling was not a strong suit. A lot of these trucks, a lot of them got loose off of 4, ended up nose first into the wall before pit road started. Caught a couple bodies. Raja being one of them. Got his nose pushed and had a hard lick on that inside retaining wall. But it all came down to Parker Kligerman winning the race, or so he thought. He did not have any damage to his vehicle, which means he got to check his ride heights, and he was a little too low. So he got thrown out. It was Heim time once again. Corey Heim wins the truck race Friday night. Gio finished second. And because of Parker's disqualification, Frankie Muniz gets a top 10 in the Craftsman Truck Series to start off his season, his first full-time season. Talk to me about the truck race, highs, lows, and differences. Was the penalty justified, Vontae?
Truck is trucks. There you go.
All right. I see how I knew.
Okay. All right.
I knew it was coming.
All right.
I mean, to expand on that thought, I will say that to me, trucks are Arca Jr. a little bit. Like, it was just a bit. It wasn't as bad as Arca was, but it's real messy. It was just a real kind of messy for me. Especially than what I'm used to. I feel so bad for Raja. I mean, he got the dog food wrecked out of him. Like, he got smattered into the inside wall. That was a brutal hit. That was a moment that stands out for me. I'm not going to say a highlight, but I just feel so bad for Parker, man. Like, he was a bad dude in a past life. Like, that's the only thing I can take away from this, because like, he's so cursed, having 2 wins basically taken away from you when it seems like it's the sure thing. I just feel for the guy. I mean, I don't know how illegal the truck was. I don't know how low it was, if it was below the regulation, but it had to be pretty dang bad for them to take away a win. So for Corey, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, you get that win and that's great, but it's like, he doesn't need that win. Like, he's gonna win 3 or 4 more races this year. And I mean, that doesn't mean you should still take it, but I feel like it would have meant a lot more for Parker, since, he's not full time. He's, splitting time in the booth and all of this. And that was a little bit of a heartbreaker for me. I was just kind of bummed for him. I like Parker a lot. So that was a downer for me.
I really just want to know who Parker pissed off in a past life. Or what did he do in his younger years where karma's just like, all right, buddy, now, like, we're gonna kick in now when you least expect it, when you're at your highest of highs, because there's no way there is a way a man could get more snake bitten than this, but this just seems cruel. It was just, the entire ordeal just seemed cruel. I was super happy for him. I mean, he was one of the trucks that I was actually excited to watch. I enjoy him. I enjoy Corey Haim. I enjoy Raja. I was very intrigued on Breidinger's debut, Frankie Muniz's debut. But yeah, I mean, the Arca Jr. comment could not have been more accurate. Like, if you tried, like, literally, it just felt like a demolition derby / who's gonna knock the Sonic rings out of the next driver the hardest, like, and which lap is it gonna come on? It was just super hard to follow, and that's not because of the broadcast, which I really just don't want to get into right now. That's its own separate thing, its own separate issue. But no, it was the word of the race. I would say is painful on multiple fronts. The way some of the hits looked, the race in general, the win that never was, apparently, which he's gone on Twitter and said they're going to fight it, but I don't know. The word of the race day for the truck series is painful, is what I would best say.
P-Tone.
I feel bad for NASCAR. So, I mean, you look at it, rough weekend for him up to that point. I mean, you've got Bubba Wallace winning a race. No one wants to see that among their core fan base. And then on Thursday in the duels, you've got a really weird finish where they throw the caution flag out and such. Just a random bit of mess. So coming into Friday, that truck race, it was messy. It was definitely messy. Poor Tony hit everything but the lottery. And it was just a lot of calamity. But it did have the potential for a very solid finish. You did see the cars that are racing at the front still get to race it out. And that was entertaining. You did have some attrition as the trucks started bouncing off each other, careening into the wall. So they got whittled down, but you still had the top three battling it out. And then, looks like the winners all cheated up. So then you don't even get the satisfaction of seeing the correct person actually win the race. It will be interesting to see how they try to appeal that, because ride height is ride height. I don't really see how, unless they can say here is some clear crash damage, I don't see how you can appeal sort of a technical violation. It seems like it would be relatively straightforward. It's not an interpretation of a sporting rule or anything like that. But in terms of entertainment and a non-BS finish that we saw when the broadcast ended, I would say that was actually probably the best show of the week. And that's not necessarily a great thing.
And then we move, as Art so lovingly reminded me, ARCA. Full transparency, y'all gonna have to tell me about the ARCA race on the website.
It happened. It happened.
And it's just, it's not here. I see the schedule. Art, you're on mute.
Listen, here's what we're gonna do.
The poll winner says Williams Sawalich.
Listen, we're at minute 31:13 of the recorder. I'm going to make a note right now to just put in the sound of a train wreck right here.
Mm-hmm.
Sound. And now we can move on. Let's just
the only thing that my takeaway from the ARCA race, my boy Cletus got smacked up. And he got that was probably the best post-incident interview I've ever watched. I didn't see how he got smacked up. I just know that he zigged instead of zagged, and got zagged instead of him getting zigged, and took the nose off his hot rod. So I guess he didn't win. That sucks. Who won?
I did. Butterbean.
Yeah, Butterbean? That's why he was on BBC.
Butterbean.
Yeah.
Butterbean's Queens.
I'm here for Butterbean to make his way. He seems like a nice guy, so yeah, I'm here for it. But yeah, there ain't no way I'm watching that trash. I was just sitting listening to y'all in the chat, just saying, "Oh, this is terrible." It's like, why are y'all doing this?
I had the TV on mute just in the background while playing my damn PlayStation Portal. I wasn't paying attention until I just saw cars everywhere. I was like, all right, now I need to, because this is our.
That's how they win.
Yeah, this is how they got me, pretty much.
The only way I'm watching that is if LeVar Scott looks like he can actually win a race, or they start handing out fan reward points for tuning in and telling me, and I have to report every lap who won.
Bars.
That's the only way you're going to get me to watch that trash. Like
Bars.
when Raja was in it, I was pissed off the entire damn time. LeVar Scott, when he gets into something where he can start winning, I'll watch. But come on now. My free time's too valuable. Y'all need to look in the mirror and get the hell out of here watching freaking Arca trash.
Hey,
man.
I got something to say about Arca. Arca's Arca. Move on to the next one. Anyway, what we got?
Elio also got dumped at the very end, like literally the end.
After the race.
After the race.
You hate to see it.
Crime?
Not in Trump's FBI.
Anyway. Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon. Nope. Saturday afternoon. CW gets their first Daytona race. They enlightened us with a new graphics really package. I kind of was feeling it. I kind of wasn't. CW gives us the benefit of in-car cameras on the app. I still wish I could watch the broadcast, CW. But shout out to the place where I watched the race. Austin Hill finally got karma. Finally, the car broke. The rear end gear went, or something or other, had him a mechanical failure. Thank goodness gracious, he was not near the front. However, Sam Mayer is the absolute worst teammate in the history of all motorsports. Didn't push Sheldon Creed to the win, and Jesse Love wins another damn super speedway race.
Well, let's be honest. Sheldon Creed wasn't going to win it no way. He could have had Dale Sr. in his prime pushing him. He would have found a way to choke.
Yes, but my yes, but is Sam Mayer went to pass him. Damn it, boy, push him. Jesse Love was by himself. Nobody else was up there. Nobody else was nowhere to be found. Travis
he knew Sheldon didn't know what to do with all that momentum. That's all it was. That's way too much. You ain't got it.
Boo. Sam Mayer still being trashed like he was at JRM. Bright spot. Sheldon Creed is your points leader.
Cool.
About the Xfinity race.
I go, but Jared, can you say your line like you always say when you say about Austin Hill?
Which one? Which line is that?
The Kendrick line, bro.
He's talking about I hate
Euphoria.
The way I hate the way you walk, hate the way you talk, hate the way that you dress, hate the way you sneak this. Did you catch a direct flight back home, brother?
Right. That's good.
How was the garage lights, Austin?
They caught a direct flight to the damn garage.
For now on, Jared, I'm gonna need you to say that every time you
That's
name
a lot
Austin
to remember.
Hill.
I'll try.
Hey, man, come on.
Overall, the Xfinity race wasn't bad. There was slight terroristic activities, but it wasn't nothing crazy.
It was an upgrade for what happened literally an hour before. So
I really hate this Xfinity Super Speedway package. It's the worst thing that they have. It's absolutely terrible. I hate it so much.
It's dog water.
Not great.
It was cool. Wasn't chaotic as Sunday or Saturday afternoon, but it was tolerable. Happy for Jesse Love, aka Colin Zillage, calling him a super speedway merchant, and I'm winning on super speedway. So happy for Jesse Little. I like that guy. Pretty cool driver. Other than that, it was some, as you expected, Xfinity super speedway racing, boring as hell, and there you go.
I'm glad that Bonte's takes are making us progress through the show so we can be irate here in the next segment. It is good for something.
Oh,
God.
Peyton's teapot is boiling. It's simmering. Steam's about to come out of it.
It's I'm excited for the Peyton's rant. I need a full uncensored, man. I don't care. Let it out.
I'm just so glad someone else has the rant crown this season. You can have it, bro.
Right.
My blood pressure says that you can have it.
That's just because you're apathetic, and I'm apathetic too. But I'm also just
obviously not
to a point.
Hey,
obviously not.
Hey, last year's MVP for that was Art. So Art, go ahead.
Let me run through this real quick as well. I like the new ticker. I think it could be improved. Austin Hill and Can't Close Creed Triple C was just exactly what you would expect, being a menace. I'm so glad Hill had his downfall. I don't think there's any driver I prayed more for their downfall in the last 8 years than Austin Hill, honestly.
Facts.
Creed spun out Nick Sanchez, like, you bum, I hate you. Also, that we didn't talk about that wreck that the 5 had coming to pit road and like just didn't even tap the brakes, like didn't even.
Kyle Larson,
brother
like,
didn't
like
touch
the
the
Indianapolis road course. Kyle Larson,
Kyle Larson Homestead.
If he ever been wrecked by Chris Wright, call 100.
Those synapses in his brain did not fire at all to like touch the brake. That's how little he thought about hitting the brake. That was really, really bad. And Jesse Love got the win. It's funny, as much as I despise Austin Hill, how I wouldn't. It could be the worst weather outside. If his car was broken down, he would stand in the rain. I'd floor it through that mud puddle in front of him. I'm very happy with Jesse Love winning. I like Jesse Love. I said this last year. I kind of rock with him. So it was a win for me. I'll take it. That was Xfinity.
And you say you're not up for rants these days. Come on now.
That's not a rant. I'm just saying
that was bars. That was like Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl.
I'm not.
Hitting the speed bag.
I'm just saying I would swerve to the right and aim for the pedal. That's all I'm saying.
I'll give you a few things on that Xfinity race. You all, and the TV clearly lets us know this, that Austin Hill is as good as Dale Earnhardt. I swear to God, don't you ever
oh my God
show me Xfinity laps led and put it up there among Cup stars. Like, get the heck out of here with that. Like that. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. RCR is shockingly dominant at these super speedways. They've got it figured out. He's going to be dominant next week. It's so good that they figured it out, and they can't figure out how to do anything else in any of the other series. But they've got this down pat, and it's really helped shoot Austin Hill's career into no championships and a really mediocre Cup set of appearances. And then my other note is JR Motorsports. They are the best at crashing their own cars. I love that crash where they all just sort of took each other out, destroyed my boy Sammy Smith. Yeah, they really like to keep them those crash damage bills all internal, so they don't have to feel bad. And they know who. It makes it easy to assign the blame because they're in the performance debrief each week. So that's the nice thing of JR Motorsports or Junior Motorsports. So, and then Jesse Love, happy for him, nice kid.
He's just on the wrong damn team, man.
I mean, if you want to win at super speedways and do nothing else, man, that's where you need to be.
I mean, look here. You can't blame a man for taking a job now.
No.
I didn't let her go back to trucks.
Man,
you gotta serve your time and get out. We've all had a job that at one point in our lives we hated. But
I know somebody who need to get fired from their job. His name John Hunter Nemechek.
Oh yeah,
John Hunter Nemechek be a dad, bro. He cooked.
John Hunter Nemechek.
Are we done with Xfinity? Can we talk about the 500 now?
Yes.
Glad.
Yeah.
So 500. Shout out to Art. Like we had had devised a plan that was going to bring greatness to the internet that the internet had never before seen. Then it rained. But it's all good though. Thank you to the sanctioning body for giving us a Daytona nighttime finish. Appreciate you. Thank you, Fox, for having side-by-side commercials throughout the broadcast. Appreciate you. But outside of that, this was the dumbest race I've ever seen. This was dumber than last year. This fuel-saving foolishness has to stop. If the sanctioning body came out with a rule where you have to go 100%, assuming that you can't play games at Martinsville, shouldn't that apply to every single race that they compete in? Why are we going 48% throttle and saving fuel? In stage 1, race, drive. It just rained for 8 hours. Drive the car. You just topped up for fuel. Drive the cars. Y'all don't want to drive? What are we doing? Like, I feel like half of the wrecks and half of the stack ups come from fuel saving. Floor it. If you run out, who cares? That's why you pay $1 million pit crews. Just come back and get some gas. You do it in 9.7 seconds if you're good, and just go back out there. Like this was a terrible product, and I mean it looked kind of good in 4K, but it was a terrible product. It was awful. Again, shout out to Max and Bleach Report and whoever came up with the idea of the in-car cams. That was very awesome to hear in real time. Freddie talked to Bubba, hearing Mr. Denike and on the radio, and hearing about that troubled alternator situation that didn't even be the bane of the race and the way it did for the 23 team. I don't know. Like, it was cool that we got to see it. I was really pissed off how it ended, though. Mad.
Yep.
Mad. Vontae, give us your take on the 500.
Excuse my language, but fuck this race. And I'm so serious. I'm not even trying to be on I ain't trying to be like that. Art, I'm sorry, but fuck this race. I don't know, but I'm getting really sick of it. I'm know I'm gonna rant too. I'm so sorry, Art. I am so sorry. Don't get me mad.
Hold on, Vontae, I gotta ask you a question.
Yes, Jay.
Are you mad because yet again that double scheme that Christopher Bell drove got him nose first?
That's one of them, but this is just the fuel saving and Cole Custer's stupid ass. That's how to be a terrorist with like the last 25 laps to go. Oh my god! I'm not mad because of Bubba crash. I mean, it should happen. I mean, it is what it is. Go on to the chin, move to the next one. I am mad at the fact that we got drivers who drive like pure assholes with 25 to go, like it's the end of the fucking world. Like, dude, like even Danny not happy about this shit. Hell, Kyle was pissed about it. Well, no. Kyle was pissed about something else. Cedric was pissed about it too, because he had that race won. I ain't gonna lie, man had that race won. It was between him and Denny, but Cole Buster, aka want to draw like an absolute ass, like cray too big. I'm like, you know what? I'm yapping. I'm yapping right now. That's how pissed I am with this race. I hate this race. I hate the Daytona 500. It's such bullshit. I'm over it. And I'm not looking forward to the summer race because it's gonna be the same shit just like I had yesterday. I'm over it. It's frustrating, bro. Like I wanna have fun watching this race, but I can't seem to have fun because there's always some BS going around. That's just me. I'm sorry for the rant. Sorry for the cursing. I'm done. I'm just over this shit.
I was kind of expecting that. That's why I'm laughing so hard.
Good. I'm sorry.
All right, you got the call queued up?
Yes, I do.
Play that right quick, and then you can we can resume the rotation.
No, just run it. It's like 2 minutes long. Let's just run it.
Oh, it's 2 minutes. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, just
full art.
Like,
yeah.
Man, where do you start with this race? There's like a million things to talk about with this race, and most of them are bad. And most of them are bad.
I need your rent, man.
I mean, I feel like there's just a couple culprits, really. And the nice thing about Daytona is that there's really nowhere to hide, so you can really tell who messes up because they will slow that footage down. You can tell who messed up. I'll start from the beginning. Like I really enjoyed like the first stage that was abbreviated because they were pretty aggressive. Second stage was kind of draggy. Third stage was fine-ish. I actually enjoyed the race a lot more than I expected to up until a certain point. Excuse me. I think Joey's comeback was really impressive. I was really afraid that he was inevitable. One of my side chats, I said, I'm afraid he's Thanos. He's inevitable. He's going to come back and win after like overcoming that issue. But then, I mean, he just got into a fight with, an idiot in the 47. Him and the 01 were smooth brained for a lot of stage 3. Literally 2 laps before in my house, I called it. I said, they're about to wreck. They're about to wreck because these dudes are jumping back and forth like the crappy ass drivers on 95 in Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. You know who you are. All of you suck. And I'm convinced you taught the 47 and the 01 how to drive because they were emulating y'all on Sunday. I mean, just the block that the 47 gave was late. And then he tried to block him again and caused this huge wreck. And it's just dumb because you're never going to recover from that second block. There's only one way that can end after you make that decision twice. And I get split second, but like that's why you get paid the big bucks, guys. Like you have to be able to be better than that. Like if you're sitting there blaming Joey for that, I just think you don't know wheel at all. Like I'm not a Joey defender, but like there's like where is he supposed to go? The dude chops his nose twice with no space left. So yeah, hate those two guys. The 47, the 01, and it's expected too. That's the last thing I'll say on that. It's expected, right? Like we know these guys are going to be terrible and make something stupid, and they were terrible and made something stupid happen and wrecked and ruined a lot of guys' day. Priest, my brother, I will not get on a flight with you anytime soon, my man, because I can't be anywhere close around you right now. Like I feel so bad for you. Like this isn't a guy that I'm a fan of, but like, golly, boy, like they gotta fix this car. I've been saying it since year one. I know a lot of people have, but like they gotta fix this car. Take that diffuser off, that underbody off. Like it looks like a kite. It literally looks like a kite catching the wind and just lifting up like that. Like that was so scary. And I'll be honest with you. After that wreck, like the wind was just out, to keep using wind references. The wind was just out of my sails after that. Like I just didn't care about the race after that.
Yep.
Like it was at all. It was just it's one of those wrecks that's just gross, and it's like not gross in the sense of like I blame anyone on the track for it being that bad, but it's just like that could have been so disastrous. Like I don't want to watch this anymore. I've had enough after fearing for 20 seconds that this man has died. Like I do not want to watch this happen. But we kept going, and Denny was great. Like Denny, you are to use a wrestling nickname, you're the cerebral assassin, man. Like you had him lined up, you'd sliced and diced and had him in your crosshairs, and you just didn't expect Cole Custer to say, "Oh, the physics tell me I can hit you 20 miles an hour and not be center, and it'll work," and just wrecked everybody. And then, there's been a lot of chatter on Twitter today and in the media about, the 500 losing its shine because of how this style of racing is going. And I just have to agree completely. Like I finished the race. I just sat there just like exhausted emotionally, and like not in a good way. Like I've had races where you're just like, it's like, man, boy, I need a cigarette after that. Like I was just so hype off her. This was not that. This was like, I need a shower and like some counseling from someone close to me. Like I do not want to watch this anymore. But it's just like, it's just Demolition Derby now, and I really hate to see that. I'm not even mad that Byron won. I think it's just a case of you're just surviving. It's literally just, are you lucky enough to survive and be the first through the carnage? And that's all he had to do. Like you're in 7th place on the last lap, and you win because 1 through 6 wreck. Like it's just really messy. So I don't know, and I feel like there's ways you can improve this. The one thing I would like to see is, how in the Coke 600 they have like the 4 stages, right? Because it's longer. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not going to get rid of stage breaks, which is my number one fix, but if you're not going to get rid of that, I was sitting there doing the math. So they get about 38 to 40 laps of fuel, right? 30. They say 38 if you're going hard, 41 if you're saving. There's 200 laps. Quick math says that that's 5 stages of 40. So we should just make the Daytona 500, since it's the biggest race, it's the most important race, just make it 5 stages of 40. And then they'll push hard the whole way because there's no saving, because you're going to stop at the end of the stage. Like, let's just do that and break it up into these segments, because that's the only way to make them run hard and still have stage breaks. I have a lot of thoughts on stage breaks as well in the broadcast, but I just, like I said, this is one of those races where you just come out of it and I just felt gross, man. I felt really gross, and I hate it because I really liked a lot of the race up until halfway through stage 3. Like, Bubba had the lead on the front row with like 35 to go, and I was like, I'm in it. Like I'm locked in. I'm enjoying it. Like the broadcast was like A- for me. Like they did a really, really great job. I'll save my broadcast notes for open mic, but it's just, y'all gotta fix this, man. Like that ain't fun. I did not enjoy it. Never mind like the politics before the race, and I don't care about any about that. Like, dude, I could have seen a man die on my TV. I don't know. I did not enjoy it. It merely made me question, like, how badly do I want to watch And I know like we don't do this every week. It's Daytona, it's plate racing, whatever. It's like, but do I really want to watch this for 30 some odd weeks because it's that bad? Like I just, ugh. I'm hoping that the fussing that's happening will actually cause some change, but we know who's in charge. So,
Connor, what was your thoughts on the race?
Oh boy, the timeline of emotions for me. I mean, going from pretty much, I would say, all of last week, especially from Thursday, up to going to the Daytona 500 party that I ended up going to. I was literally in the car with Lauren the entire time saying, I don't remember being this excited. Like, I feel like a kid again. Like, this feels great. Like, I'm so excited for this. And take out the grandstanding for presidential Voldemort, remove that. Remove the rain that delayed everything, which then made my excitement even higher because Daytona 500 night finish, hell yeah. Like, again, give me that feeling as a kid again. I also left that Daytona 500 party and I was just like, well, it's kind of a good thing I got to work at 7 a.m. and I got to be up at like 4 or 5 a.m. because I really don't want to be up any longer and think about what I just had to watch. Because, man, I want to talk about the Logano Stenhouse incident a little bit in the sense of if you are just an average watcher of NASCAR, right? If you just watch it casually, I think even the most casual, most average person will know, especially at a track like Daytona, especially given how hard charging that 22 car was going, and given that, he was going for it all at that point, and there was really nothing stopping him but Stenhouse himself, like forcefully removing him. You have to know one of two things. Number one, like Art said, that 22 car, when it's in that form, damn near inevitable. Like, just expect it and just don't do anything stupid. Number two, you should know better to know that Joey, like, if there is even a shred of space there, and there's enough space, he's not going to lift. He will not lift. So why are you going to try to cut him off right when you see the nose there? You know the man's not going to lift. If you were going to make that move, you had to have literally made it a second later, and it still would have been bad because then he would have just driven right through the car like a Mack truck, and who's to say what would have happened there? So, I mean, I listened and watched Kyle Busch's, interview out of the care center, everybody else's dialogue about it, and I don't know, maybe I'm just on the wrong side of NASCAR like commentaries right now, but there is not a world alive where I should be seeing 80-20 the blame is going to Logano versus Ricky Stenhouse Jr. there. Like, I don't know why that world exists. And talking about LaJoy, I mean, it's the same. I tried very hard not to swear on this podcast, but I'm gonna erase that embargo. I am so sorry. It's the same shit from every race, and we know it's going to happen. It's an inevitability. We know it's going to happen, but you somehow, some way, find out it can somehow get worse or more stupid somehow. Like, the amount of times everyone at the party was just sitting there, we were just like, especially when he was leading at the top of the pack at the caution flag, everyone in the house just went, yeah, we're about to get a caution in 3 laps, and he's why. Stenhouse is why. Lauren's dad was just like, I don't trust John Hunter. I was like, I don't trust John Hunter either. So it's bad when your usual culprits are all in that top 5, top 10 area, and multiple people are just like, well, this ain't gonna end well. And what happened? Exactly what we thought would happen. Yet somehow even more stupid than we could have even fathomed. Somehow, which is a record at this point. I really don't know what else to say about this. I mean, it doesn't feel like racing. It really doesn't feel like racing. Like this doesn't even feel like video game racing. I'm not talking iRacing video game, right? Or I guess that's technically a simulation. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even like, I'm talking like arcadey, like NASCAR Heat, before, like the most recent ones and everything. I'm talking like the arcade style races. I'm talking like the old NASCAR games that are still somehow in like arcades and everything, like around here. It feels like that, and even then it still doesn't even feel like that, because there still seems to feel like some type of order. There still seems to feel like there's still some type of law, not some form of chaos that's going to happen there. I don't know how else to really describe what it was, but to me, it just didn't feel like racing. It literally just felt like, well, who wants to get it now? You know what I mean? Like, who is going to be in my way, and I'm going to drive through them, hope to God my car is fine, and then we're gonna figure the rest out at the end. Because at that point, I think I'm gonna be still alive at the end. But it's that line of thinking that also simultaneously takes your damn car out. And point in case, Ryan Preece, again, just being caught up in an awful thing, to the point where honestly I was primed and ready to cut the TV off at that point. So the second they cut the camera to him, and the window net immediately drops right on the camera cut, the sigh of relief that I had was just one that it damn near felt like I almost felt weird, because I was like, I feel like I know the guy, but I also am just like, that's a human being that should not be suspended in air like that, flipping around like that, and have that happen in twice within the same amount of years, right? I don't know what needs to be done. I mean, Denny put it best today. I haven't listened to the full podcast yet of Actions Detrimental, but he called it entertainment. It doesn't even feel like racing anymore. He said it's more so entertainment. But at the same time, I kind of disagree with him. I don't even know if it's entertainment right now. I don't know what it is. It's jackassery, truly. It's just borderline demolition derby stuff. We're talking about a race where, honestly, I feel like there's multiple facets and culprits in that race who damn near gave it ARCA feelings. I should not feel like I'm watching an ARCA race, or I'm seeing shades of an ARCA race in one of, if not arguably, your crown jewel race of all your crown jewels. I shouldn't feel like that. I don't even care if Bubba won. He could have won, and I would have been like, hell yeah, my guy survived. However, I'm still feeling this exact same way. Whether he won, if Tyler somehow won it, if Denny won it, whoever, right? It's reached a point now where I feel like, with the week NASCAR had with everything that was going on, and like Peyton touched on it a little bit, talking about the truck series and how that ended. Bubba wins. Oh, their core fans are going to hate that. The caution debacle in Duel 2, the way the trucks ended. Xfinity may or may not have been exempt from this, other than just its usual just shenanigans. At this point, you have to feel that someone is going to have the gall, just the unmitigated gall, to finally just be like, you know what? We can't have that on one of the biggest races that we basically promote everywhere to the entire world. This is our Super Bowl. Your Super Bowl looks like shit for the last couple of years. What are you going to do about it? Like, I can take all the excitement that I had before that race. If I know that's going to be the product for the next 2-3 years, Honestly, the Daytona 500 might just become fodder in the background for me while I'm doing laundry or something, and it doesn't become appointment television. And I'm sure they don't give a damn what Connor Moore in Elgin, Illinois thinks about, oh, he's not watching the Daytona 500. All the core fans will love it. This is going to turn a lot of core fans off, though. So my hope is that with enough people talking about this, they're going to fix this because, I mean, the NFL is not going to let their Super Bowl look like shit, right? They're going to do everything possible to rectify that. NASCAR makes this their Super Bowl. They've called it their Super Bowl. It's essentially the granddaddy of them all. Like, figure it out. Because if this is what you call the granddaddy of them all, it's pathetic. It's pathetic to NASCAR fans who have watched better racing from previous generations. It's pathetic if you're trying to get new fans to watch this current generation. And to be quite honest, it's pathetic to the current generation, both watching and in it right now. It does a disservice to so many different facets of people, so many different generations, racers, fans, commentators, whomever. I don't want to go by far and say it's the worst race I've ever seen, but we're diving into that. Is a Daytona 500, like I said, is it watchable anymore? And when the question becomes, is your Super Bowl watchable? You need to start asking questions internally, and you need to start doing it now, in my opinion.
Peyton?
So it's interesting. There are moments of the race that were really entertaining, like this style racing can be when they're not crashing. The suspense is that of which you would find watching a horror film, knowing that terrible things are likely to happen and will happen, but you just haven't seen them happen yet, so you can't look away. I was most surprised when I got into work today and had several people want to talk about the race, and I was more than happy to talk about it. It's exciting and encouraging that people were wanting to talk about the race, but they were sort of taken aback by how messy it was. And some thoughts have been sort of rolling through my mind. One, when's the last time we've had a good super speedway race? Now, we're not going to couch my beautiful, beautiful Atlanta into that. That's my little prized possession. We don't talk about Atlanta the same way we talk about these ruffian tracks like Talladega and Daytona. No, my Atlanta is different. But it's been so long since we've had a useful, relevant race at these tracks. And what I've been doing for the last 15 minutes while you all have been providing great detail and thoughts, I've just been watching the 2000 Talladega Winston 500, the famous one. That's the one where Dale Earnhardt Sr. made his way from like 17th and made his way to the front in like 8 laps. And it's remarkable because I remember watching that race live as a youngster. I'm not going to talk about how old I was at the time. That's not germane to the conversation here. But it's just amazing how far we have strayed from that formula. And I don't know how we get back. A lot of fans find the calamity and the suspense of what we see at a Daytona or Talladega interesting, and I can understand it. There's always peril, but the big issue is, okay, so let's take a look at the notes from Bubba's great win on Thursday. How did he get there? He led. He controlled the field. Awesome. So is that what you need to do? Well, okay, that makes sense. This is racing. Track position should matter. Okay, so what did we see on Sunday? Okay, it turns out Denny Hamlin teaches us leading, no, not safe. He got demolished from running in the lead, or second. Got demolished when his teammate got spun out. Okay, dead last, is that a safe place? No, because track positions kind of sort of matters. So you can't just hang out in dead last because you've got to make your way to the front. Okay, what about like P14 or P15? Well, okay. Maybe, but where was Bubba Wallace running when he got caught up in the terrifying Ryan Preece accident? Oh yeah, he was running about P15. Okay, so I guess there's no safe place except, wait, where did the winner come from? The winner was running about P13 when the whole crash happened. So it doesn't matter. None of this matters. What they've done is they've made all these cars super equal, choked them up with power, removed the throttle response, made it where the only way to give yourself a chance is to block, block, block. One or two cars showed some capability. Apparently, Ross Chastain had some really good performance. Doesn't matter. He got crashed out super early. What separates what we're watching now is none of it matters because the single car is so gosh darn slow. Watching this race with Dale Earnhardt in 2000, he had the fastest car. That car was perfect. And he still had to work his way through the field. He had to work lines. He had to work energy. It wasn't so much so he can get help being pushed up. It was just so that he could make his way through the field. And that's the difference now. The cars don't matter. It's just being in the right place at the right time. And yeah, and I don't know where you go from here. Do you give the cars more horsepower? Well, now you're going to have the speed issue. Do you increase Jared is nodding his head yes. I mean, yeah, if we do that, then we don't get a Ryan Preece getting 6 feet off the air. We get a Ryan Preece going into lower orbit and taking out several excited spectators. So that's not going to happen. So I just don't know what to do. The only thing I can think of is you take some drag off the car, slightly reduce the size of the tapered spacer, and then make it where they are just a little bit more unstable. So that way it's in a pack, it's just not as stable, and they can't do these 3 wide and 60 billion cars deep because all you've got is just gridlock traffic, and it's just so inconsequential. And I sort of hate it because the fans who care have to sit there and have these conversations 4 times a year. And it's frustrating. And I don't know if the sport cares enough because to the layman, that might have been exciting. So, yeah.
To that point, because you had mentioned it earlier too, and to the last thing you just said, my question that I have for you, Peyton, and really all of us here, you had mentioned that, yeah, there might be a few people out there, a few fans that are super, they like this chaos, they like this calamity. Car knows that, and that's why they're just this is our gateway to get more people to watch. Fuck it, you know what I mean? I feel like that's got to be the only way why they're kind of just I don't know, well, kind of tiptoeing around it and not really doing anything. I guess that's my question. Yeah,
I'm not going to be that cynical. I think, actually, I don't know. This is a conversation my dad and I would always have throughout the late 2000s and the 2010s was, how do you fix NASCAR? Because that phase, it was starting to wane. And I think the biggest issue NASCAR has is I don't think the fan base knows what they want. I don't think your median NASCAR fan can give a consistent, reliable explanation of what makes for a good race. And I think that's the biggest thing, is they may be chasing that sort of excitement. I think the other thing is, too, I think it may be really expensive to fix the issues that this car has or to change the style of racing. And they may not be able to change the style of racing and have it still be relatively safe. Say what you will. Ryan Preece's accident was extremely scary. He emerged unharmed. We've had one crash that essentially ended someone's career in the past 15 or so years. So the safety record for this sport has been really, really strong. It's been stronger than F1, who's sadly seen a fatality in the last 15 years. IndyCar's seen several in the last 20 years. So it's hard to knock what they're doing in terms of safety, and they may feel that the speeds or the way these cars race may be the safest way and the most entertaining way. But yeah, Connor, I don't know if I'm going to be so cynical to say that NASCAR's sitting there saying yes, this is perfect. But I just don't know also if we've got enough of a consensus among the fans to say what is a good super speedway race, because some might look at that 2000 Talladega race and say, well, that's boring. They're sort of spread out and they're not all running 6 wide. Like, who wants to see that?
That's fair. Trust me. I don't. By all means, I'm not that cynical on that. I don't think that's what they're feeling, but in a weird devil's advocate way, I'm kind of just like, I don't want to say they're thinking it, but could they?
I mean, I feel like I've been on the record on here and said that I just feel like they haven't done enough. I feel like a lot of the changes they did with this car were set up so that it is visually more appealing on TV, to where it looks great in pictures. You know, the car looks great. I'm sure other people have said this on their platforms, but like the car looks great in a picture. When you see 3x3 by 20 rows deep, it looks incredible. But when you're watching it on TV and you're a week in, week out watcher, like it's not a good package, but it looks great. And you can then take those pictures and those clips and those recs, and you can go into boardrooms and you can talk to CMOs and C-suites of these big companies, these Bushes, these Xfinities, and say, hey, look how great this looks. And they don't know NASCAR from IndyCar, from F1. Like they may have heard of, Dale Earnhardt maybe, but like they don't know that. And I feel like a lot of the decisions, like it helps sell it in those rooms. But if you're sitting there watching it again on a week-to-week basis, and you're an engaged NASCAR fan, like you can tell like this isn't good racing. Like the people who have been doing this their entire life that run the show, they know that this is not a good product. Like, and if they don't know that, they shouldn't be in this position. Like I am the opposite. I give them zero benefit of the doubt, because this is your whole life. Like these are not people that are, interns or like fresh-faced people out of college. Like these people have been in racing in some form or capacity their whole lives for the most part. So the responsibility lies on them to make the changes that are necessary. And the reality is that this car was rushed. We know that it's been rushed. They didn't do enough testing on it in a pack. And the changes that they have made are minor when it comes to the quality of racing. Now, I know they made some changes to do some reinforcement and to make it a bit safer and, try to reduce the impacts. And that's all great and is important. I'm not acting like it's not important. But in terms of, we're going to change the engine, we're going to change the wheels, we're going to change the gear ratio, we're going to change the underbody. Like, we're going to do something. We're going to change the fuel cell. Like, they could literally just go in there and change how quickly the fuel is dumped into the car. You could change the side. Like these are not physics that are edged in stone that can't be adjusted. Every part of the car can be adjusted, right? Like there's no higher power above that says like the car has to be built this way. So if they came out tomorrow and was like, okay, well, we're going to use a narrow tire starting next week at Atlanta, they could do that. Like it's possible. So I don't give them the benefit of the doubt. And because again, it's been 3 years now of this car, and they haven't made those adjustments. So they have to either like it or you condone it. And either way is a bad route, in my opinion. So I hear what you're saying. And I don't think they want to see cars flipping. I don't think they want to see wrecks like that. But I don't think they turn too far away from it, because as much as they may hate them, they use them in the ads. We see them on TV and on socials all the time. So they don't hate them then.
Well, Fox News teaches us they'll use images from Dale Earnhardt's crash to sell ad time. So yeah, I mean, clearly when it comes to your media partners, good taste and sensibility are that's not the most important thing. You gotta put butts in front of the TV. So
we'll move. We gotta keep this train chugging. 2011 corner, quick stop here. It's been said 57 times already. Shout out to Bubba, shout out Charles DeNike. Really excited to see that relationship grow and blossom and flourish. Bubba, because of terrorism, finished. I want to say it was 29th. It was 29th for Bubba. Tyler finished P2 because William Byron sadly passed post-race inspection. I mean, shout out to Riley. The unsung hero of the weekend is Riley Herbst. He tried to push the boss to the lead. Cole Custer decided that he wanted to reenact that one Family Guy scene. That's all I'm going to say. And and he had an incredible save going into turn one. So shout out Riley. It's really fun having 32311 Toyotas Really excited to see how this is another garbage. Sorry, Peyton super speed rate race coming up this weekend. So hopefully they have better luck this time. But looking forward to how the teamwork makes the dream work. Anybody want to add anything in 2311 before we keep moving? The nose have it. Perfect. Lights too bright.
So happy for Tyler again second, but sucks that. But hate that Bubba got caught in the crash due to Cole Custer.
You said that already.
I don't care. Shut up. Anyways,
Golly.
Was he distracted by his PS5?
Probably. Who's your lights too bright, Bonte?
I wasn't done.
You are.
Well, pause your game.
I'm not on the game.
Who's winning?
I don't know who's winning. Are you on the game, Peyton?
No, I'm watching Talladega again.
Oh my God! You know
That's not the right answer. It's not. I don't know.
Lights too bright goes to Corla Joy.
Nope. Say it right. Say it right. Say it right.
Oh, say it right. Okay. Hold on before I do that, because I got more than one today.
Oh,
Lights too bright goes to Cole Custer.
You can't take all of them. Damn it!
Man,
no,
I'm picking three.
No, you pick one. That's the rules.
Three.
Your
Cole Custer,
bright is Corla Joy.
Ricky
All
Stenhouse,
right,
and Corla Joy.
who's your?
You can't take half the
Did
fucking
he take all
field.
of it?
I
You do
took
have to
three.
Who's your lights too bright?
Are the worst, especially Jared.
It's a Broadway production on the stage. All the
Every
lights
time.
just glaring at him.
Oh,
Took off.
God bless. I mean, they took all of them. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Roll the end credits.
Yeah, like fucking all right.
He didn't take mine though, but
Yeah, he didn't take mine
God
either.
bless. I fucking Creed, I guess, because he fucking lost again after leading late. There you go.
You are horrible.
You're
No,
terrible.
he sucks.
You're terrible.
I
I'm
suck.
sure he's a lovely human. I bet he's a
You are
great
not.
person to be a neighbor to, but he just can't win for shit. And then I got to come out here after the end of the year again, and here's y'all fools give him a letter grade better than a guy who won 4 or 5 races. Some of y'all.
He's the points leader, Sheldon Creed.
Sheldon Creed.
Peyton, who's your lights too bright?
my lights too bright is not a person; it's an entity. Excuse me, and it's the Gen 7 car. And this makes me so sad because I've been the biggest advocate of this car. It's so beautiful and it's symmetric. I don't like asymmetric racing cars. I don't
And
like
look
it.
at you. And look at you.
Basically, his ass. If you want to think about it.
And it's so beautiful and it looks like a sports car, and it's like you can show this to other sports fans or other race fans. Say, hey, look, our cars, it looks like it was built in the past 20 years too. We've got carbon fiber, we've got aerodynamics, you see, and it races so badly, and it kills it wants to kill all of its drivers. It has tried to kill Priest twice, and on the third time we don't know how it's going to go. It ended Kurt Busch's career, and that's awful. And it's bad at short tracks. It's bad at the big tracks, and it's bad at road courses at a time where NASCAR can't stop adding road courses. It's only good on the tracks that they've stopped racing at, which is pretty astonishing that NASCAR managed to screw this up so badly that they made a car that's less safe, races poorly at all the tracks they want to go to, and it's more expensive. So it's just the fact that it looks good is the only thing keeping me around. But yeah, it's lost me because that race was so bad, and it's so dangerous. So whoever designed the Gen 7 NASCAR Winston Cup car, you need to turn down the lights when you're designing it so you can see your wind tunnel testing more clearly, because that's the only thing I can assume is that you just had the studio or the office lights too damn bright because your car sucks.
Why was that kind of a bar? Holy shit.
Yeah,
oh my God. Damn.
Listen, I get ahead of steam and you just get into a rhythm. It's just, it's beautiful.
That was nice.
Oh, damn. Connor, who's your lights too bright? Or what, apparently?
So I was gonna mention broadcast, but I know Art said he's gonna talk about that later. So I'm gonna relegate myself to the 9th gate of hell and mention an ARCA driver because Amber Balkan. What's going on? I just really want to know why, what, how. Like, I mean, this realistically, what I just said could apply to damn near that entire field, right? Not named Butterbean and LeVar and
Sandwich.
Maybe. Sure. But I watched the replay of that, and I just the entire time I just sat there just going, why? What did I watch? Was there ever a point where you just decided to not just, full-fledged send, just drive through someone? Y'all play Forza Horizon, right? Y'all played? Yeah. Okay.
I'll just playing it right now.
I'm not playing it, you asshead. Now shut up, my Talladega. Hey, man. Before I take an S2000.
Anyways, I'm about to go. I'm about to go play it after we're done recording. Anyways, so y'all know how you can just there's an option where you can just turn off all damage, cosmetic and actual engine damage and everything. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what I witnessed, and that's when what's the guy's name, the YouTuber that everyone was going crazy about in that race? I forgot his name. In the ARCA race.
Cletus McFarland.
Cletus, thank you. I mean, that was abysmal. I mean, I also don't want to talk about the whole AI thing that she's got going on. And the thing is, I want to support her. I am very much I want women to be in racing. They deserve to be in racing. There are some badass women who can kick ass in racing. But man, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was in that race. I'm concerned because I remember not too long ago, last year, the big thing was about how there were so many on the field, and that crash, not her as a person, not her as a driver, but that crash was just abysmal. Of all the bad ARCA crashes, that was bad. And I also need Cletus McFarland fans to tone it down on the threats they're sending her, because that is over a race. It's a bit much, right? We don't need to be sending death threats to her over a race, over a guy who literally was just "Hey, I'm fine," and gave the greatest studio interview in the booth that I've witnessed ever. So I don't know. I just really want to know what was going on in her mind that time, but I still think she is a good and developing driver. But that was a mistake where I just feel man, that was bad. That was just so bad.
My light's too bright. This is John Hunter Nemechek.
I thought that was already
man. That boy cannot leave a line to save his life.
Your daddy.
Ooh, but pissing me off.
You can't drive.
Get out the way.
You are
the Cup Series.
A rolling parachute, sir. Please, if you know you have damage, do not get in front of the line. Do not block the faster cars from getting in front of you in the line. And you are the sole reason why I was not off work today celebrating a Bubba Wallace Daytona 500 victory. It is all your fault, John Hunter Nemechek. You, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Carvana, all the other sponsors that Legacy has, I blame you solely. The sole responsibility falls on your shoulders.
Stay online.
I like the way those cars look too. That's the only thing I like.
In the way, dog, move. I was yelling at my television, move. And Freddie's "Oh, I feel bad. I stuck Bubba in the wrong lane." No, we learned that all Toyotas don't have the same speed, and it proved it again. Legacy needs to get out the way. Shout out Jimmy Johnson for finishing third.
Yes, sir.
Apparently, he's the first Hall of Fame enshrined driver to get a top 10 or a top 5 in the history of all
with being a co-owner too.
Crazy. So.
And that's the go right there 7 times.
Wasn't there something in there about being a co-owner too, with in the history books? I can't remember.
Something like that. Because Brad got wrecked again.
Stay online. Say online one more time for the night.
What line?
What line?
I hate the way you walk.
It's not time for that yet.
I don't care.
Art, play the call. and then we can do open mic. And
Somebody
then
not coming back next week.
We can vomit
It's
those.
not Connor. Someone else is getting cut.
Whatever.
Anyway, we got one hotline call this week. Let's give it a listen.
They done messed around and let that guy William Byron went back to back in the Daytona 500.
Mickey Mouse.
All in all, though, those solid race, I thought it was actually a fairly decent race for what I expect super speedway racing to be, modern super speedway racing. The Penske cars was tearing it up and dominating until 2 out of 3 of them got taken out. And then Cindric still held his own by himself. And then you saw, some of the Toyota guys make some noise. Denny Hamlin got up there and like he was in contention to do it. Bubba holding it down for 23-11. Got up there and led some laps, but he kind of faded in the end. And, what happens with super speedway racing. The incident started happening. The drivers started taking each other out, and the racing god said, "Get on up there, Mr. Byron, and go and get you another one." And the last one, and what was crazy about it is as I was watching the race, it felt like he had a shot for real. Well, he was one of the people that wasn't really talked about. He was just kind of quietly along there, avoided all the incidents, and when push came to shove, he got right on up there and popped on through for another Daytona 500 win. Solid start to the season. Hope it's a fun one as we go throughout the rest of the season. Peace. Holla back at y'all later.
I mean, that's really all you got to do at this point, right? It's just
Mickey
stay alive.
Mouse Daytona 500.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he
not his fault. He wasn't part of the crash.
Is it Mickey? Is it Mickey Mouse or is it just he's playing?
It's not Mickey Mouse.
He just
it's rules of the game.
He hates us to 24. That's what it is. He doesn't like Willie B.
That's fine.
It's not Mickey Mouse. This is the definition.
No,
it's not Mickey Mouse if he's playing the cards that are just automatically dealt.
What cards? His job is to hold the wheel straight and press the accelerator at 42%.
Survive and advance is basically the name of the game of this race. That was the card he had to play.
You know what was actually Mickey Mouse? It was Terrorism Mouse, but what's his name at Richmond? Austin Dillon. That's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, that's Mickey Mouse.
This was literally just
Austin
right
Dillon.
place, right time. Like I don't fault him for it. It wasn't like he did. Although I will say, I've said as a sidebar, if y'all think he didn't crack that corner of the nose, on the wall,
brother,
I saw that. You because
Mickey
let me
Mouse.
Tell y'all something. They are listen, and y'all know I like HMS. I'm not an HMS hater. They got tape of Chad Canals telling when you got to crack the rear end of this car. They got it on recording.
Yes,
stared into the camera.
Landon Castle went on a Twitter rant after the race when Parker got disqualified. It's like, you idiot, you're supposed to wreck the car so they don't measure you.
And listen, I'm not mad at it. But like you people out there who are acting like, oh, he didn't do. Not you. I'm saying you people who are out there online talking about, oh no, he didn't do that. They don't cheat. Listen,
okay.
I got beachfront property in Oklahoma I can sell you while you're at it. But like because you're buying anything they sell. And like that's the game. You know how I knew they were cheating? Earlier in the week, someone posted the decals for the front wheels for the 5 and the 24 are different than they were at the Clash. They changed it. If you go back and look, I know this is so in the weeds, but they changed the way the decals did.
Yep, I saw that.
Listen, they don't change nothing to make the car slower. No, they only changed something to make the car faster. So they did something with that nose.
They cheating. What's the scan tool they use? What's the name of that thing?
Yeah, the
thing. Yeah,
cheating. Listen, I'm all for it, but like, listen, you can't piss on me and tell me it's raining, guys. Like they cheating. Let's just
I agree. I'm about to say though, no wonder why True X be burning out a little bit too hard on the after he wins. Literally, you can see the side like back of his car.
All right. Open mic. I know Art's rant, so I'll let him have his piece. For my open mic, I lost my train of thought.
Good.
Oh my
I'm
God.
glad.
No.
Get done for the day.
Slander on my. All right, so I'm gonna go.
Spontaneous spunk. Yeah.
That's your fault.
Listen, we got a special
Come back
bonus
to me.
edition of Lights Too Brights right here in the studio. But
Lights Too Bright goes to Jared.
Boy.
So my
you in a second.
You already right now.
All right, so my open mic night. I only have one real bone of contention with Fox this week, and I first I want to give them their flowers. This is a really good broadcast. They did a great job. There was so much side by side racing, right? I think they had very few full screen commercials under green, which is all I'm asking for. I give them big thumbs up. Camera angles were solid; they weren't super zoomed in. Like, it was a good broadcast. Even the booth got better as the race went on. Although Clint did yell all over Mike Joy's call at the end, but whatever. My only issue is this: at stage 3, we got like 30 to go. We locked in. We all of us are leaned up, locked in. They say, Toyota sponsored this ad-free segment of the race. I'm like, all right, Toyota, shout out to y'all real ones. And then they go and show Eric Jones' segment about his fundraiser or his foundation, whatever. Almost like side by side. So y'all know, if y'all listen, like the side by side, it's a little tiny box on the side, right? I'm like, all right, whatever, that's fine. All right, you paid for this time, whatever. Come back 2 minutes later, commercial, side by side. Come back, and then they go, oh, it's dangerous being at the front. Let's show an interview segment from earlier in the week where they interview the drivers side by side, commercial side by side. In like 15 minutes, probably 12 of them, the race is in the tiny box on the side in stage 3 under green with like less than 30 to go. And I'm just like, guys, please stop cutting away. Like, yes, it's side by side, but it doesn't give you free reign to make all of the last 25 laps be side by side. It just threw me for such a loop because, like, I'm just like, guys, please let me just watch the race. That's my only beef. Like, I get you got to pay the bills, but come on, man. Like, give me 5 laps straight without it cutting out, please. But the rest of it was really good. So I'm, like I said, I'm gonna give them their flowers for that part, but give the interview segments in stage 1, stage break. But when it's crunch time, it's prime time. Like, save all that. We don't care about what Joey Logano was saying a week and a half ago. Let's just watch him on screen now. Let's see him do his thing now. So that's my only beef. But I gotta give them credit. They stepped up their game this week. So they get a plus in the win column from me.
I remember what I was going to say. The unsung heroes of the 23 team is the pit crew. The pit crew didn't get their flowers during this episode, but the pit crew was the sole reason why Bubba had a chance at winning before John Henry rejected terrorism. They gained, it was like P7, P6. They were on it every single time. Super duper shout out to Airspeed. Super duper shout out to Denny for believing in his vision, because they were lights out this weekend. So if they came to play in this week 1, there's gonna be some stickers on that car.
Oh yeah.
I just want to make sure we didn't, they got to get their kudos.
This pick is getting better and better each year, man. I'm excited.
Peyton, you got anything?
Yeah, since we decided to not preview Atlanta, I'm going to make this my open mic. God. Listen, hold on. Atlanta is a beautiful thing. Yes, it's a little baby super speedway, but handling still matters. We saw a Bubba Wallace from a lap down manage to put himself in position to regain and get back on the lead lap. That's something that doesn't happen. He actually worked his way up, jumped spot, played Frogger to make his way through the field. And that gives me hope for that track. Also,
and still finished 5th, too.
Exactly. It was a very exciting race. Handling still matters. It's the dream and vision of what Daytona could look like in these cars. And then also, too, from the demographic standpoint, it's a super black race. Like, I'm sorry, like the crowd support, the love that he gets in that town. Listen, I'm just saying, in 5 years, you're going to have the Bubba Wallace grandstand at Atlanta. I don't care if he even wins there. Just the crowd support demands it. Like, it is so cool to go to a race and you just see all the different faces. And it's something that goes underappreciated, like just how diverse that track is. Like, I'm sorry if it sounds crude to say it, but it's cool to see how unique that experience is, because I go to a lot of different races in a lot of different cities, and yeah, it's as diverse as you'd get at like maybe an NBA game in a smaller metropolitan area. Like, it's pretty impressive what they put on there. It's one of my favorite weekends. I love the city of Atlanta. You all should move to Atlanta as well. We should all live in Atlanta. I love Atlanta.
Hell no.
Did you just say we should move to Atlanta when you don't live in Atlanta?
Hey, man.
Maybe that's why I love it. Because I don't live there, and I just go visit it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all this money.
That's a setup if I've ever
The
seen
Atlanta
it.
racetrack is nowhere near metropolitan Atlanta. Maybe that's why.
Atlanta is sprawled so much that it kind of it's shocking. It's like 2 exits away from like the last like Atlanta city exit.
Scary.
So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's also like it's not too far. So
I'll tell you one thing: I've always wanted to visit that track. So weirdly enough,
It's big. I mean, if you've been to Charlotte, you've been to Atlanta.
I will be in Charlotte for the first time this year for a vacation.
You gonna be there too? Oh, fantastic!
For a vacation, but we're hoping to go to the race. We're really hoping to go to the race. Actually,
Yeah, me too. Work in progress. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've been here for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna let y'all go. Appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you for Connor for being here. Thank you for Bonte for being your true self. We will hopefully see you all post Atlanta after Atlanta. I'm putting that plan back in motion. But until then, y'all be breezy.
Be out.
Peace. Cue the music.
Does your second Daytona 500 win take on even greater significance considering the journey you've traveled over the past 6 years?
Yeah, I think so. Man, this winning this race is the greatest feeling that you can feel in this sport. And aside from obviously accepting the trophy for the championship, I didn't know if I'd ever get a chance to feel that again, and it feels just as good, if not better than the first, because of how hard we tried year after year after year, running second all them years, wondering why and what we needed to do. And I got to get my head together. I got to thank National Guard, Diet Mountain Dew, all our sponsors, Kelly Blue Book, Chevy and Sprint, and my team. This race car was awesome.